Welcome to another episode of Speaking with the Senator. I'm Senator Kevin Avard, and today we have a guest that I promised that we would bring on regarding a particular topic that I think affects a lot of people. If you have prescription drugs, this is a show that you might want to hear or know about. I did put in a bill recently to address certain portions of this issue, and the issue has to do with, it's called PBMs. It's the word that's hanging around the Capitol these days, but it stands for Pharmacy Benefit Management. And to talk about that, I'm asking a pharmacist to come on, and his name is Glenn Perreault.
Yep.
And from New London. So thank you for trekking all the way down here, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Happy to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, it's important. You know, we had Senator Innes on last week, and he was talking a little bit about the copays and calculator or whatever it's called. You got all kinds of definitions for different things, but it's interesting. And the reason we brought in this bill was basically because it seems to me, in a nutshell, that if you have a prescription, say $1,000 a month, and you need that to live, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
I actually know one person. I was doing a job in their house, and he said, yeah, I got $1,200 worth, and he's in a wheelchair, he can't work, he's a senior age, and he's fixed income. And, you know, in order to live, I need this $1,200 worth of medicine every month. And so, you know, one of the issues is, well, how can we help? I mean, what can we do? And this concept came to mind, you know, with the pharmacy benefit management. And somebody was trying to explain it to me, and it's hard for me to explain some things. It's like growing up in a house where everybody speaks French. You don't speak French, but you understand what they're saying. Now I can't translate it. You know, it's an interesting world we live in up at the Capitol. But maybe you could talk a little bit about the pharmacy benefit management.
So pharmacy benefit managers, it's not a new industry. It's been around for quite some time. I've been a pharmacist for 40 years.
Okay.
When I was first starting out in pharmacy back in the early to mid 80s, McKesson, one of the larger wholesalers in the country, started a service called PCS, the Prescription Card Service. And basically what they said was, hey, Blue Cross, Anthem, Humana, let us take over your prescription billing process. We will take that over. You won't have to handle the prescription payment process at all. And that's how the PBM industry was born. What it has evolved to is this mega middleman who not only provides the prescription processing or payment model, but they also negotiate with manufacturers. They negotiate with different pharmacies on rates to provide discounts. Basically, they're the middleman. They control what we get paid, what we.
You know, I was up in Maine doing a job, and I actually had to. I was doing a job, and it required me to go behind the counter at a pharmacy cleaning. I do that on the side, and I said, "Hey, you know, by the way, you know, I'm a senator." And the guy looks at me like, "Really? Okay." Yeah. Well, in New Hampshire, I'm putting in this bill called the Pharmacy Benefit, SB 555. And he just lit up. It was like, wow, excellent, great. And I said, why? Why is that so great? He says, well, and his number one word was transparency. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So pharmaceutical benefit managers, they fit in this middle territory. They're not a pharmacy, they're not a healthcare professional, although sometimes they act that way, and they do operate some mail order pharmacies. And they're not an insurance company. So there are no healthcare laws, there are no insurance laws that cover a PBM. So no one looks at their business, no one looks at how they conduct their business, no one knows where the money goes, where it comes from. Are they, so if a patient gets a claim, pharmacy gets paid a certain fee to provide that prescription to that patient. there's no transparency back to the ultimate payor, whether it be the insurance company or private business, exactly how much the pharmacy get paid or how much they kept, how much they may have negotiated the price of that brand name drug from the manufacturer. They don't have to divulge any of that. And it can be substantial, the amount of money.
Yeah, millions, if not billions. Yeah, and it's a huge industry. But just this one individual that I was talking about earlier, that amount of money, wow. And so I introduced this bill, and sure enough, the insurance companies are coming out saying, well, Senator, you go forward with this. We may have to increase rates. My first little squirrel on this side of my brain says, so when have they ever come down? Mm-hmm. This side said, well, okay, so the individual that is trapped with this $1,200 a month payment is going to subsidize the insurance companies so that the premiums don't go up. Both of those squirrels are at war,
Right.
It's like, how do you justify that?
And I guarantee, absolutely 100% guarantee that $1,200 drug that your constituent or your friend
Both, yeah.
is paying for, the reason why it's on his formulary is that the PBM has negotiated a rebate, a discount, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
for the cost of that medication. It is not being passed on to your constituent. I don't know where that money goes. Nobody knows where that money goes. That's the term non-transparent. Nobody sees that. We don't know where it goes.
Yeah, so forgive me for reading this, but this is the title of my bill, and it's an act relative to receipt of pharmaceutical rebates by insurers and pharmacy benefit managers. The analysis of the bill basically revises the annual reporting requirements for pharmacy benefit managers regarding pharmaceutical rebates. The bill also revises a percentage of rebates insurers are required to make available to enrollees, and it also increases fines for non-compliance, and it removes a prospective repeal of RSA 415 relative to insurers' cost of rebates. In layman's term, what did I just say? Maybe you can help me
Basically,
with that.
what you're saying is that we want, first of all, we want to see what your rebates are, and second of all, we want you to kind of pass on some of that to our insured constituents, our insured population.
Right.
I'm sorry, our patients who are using that particular service.
Exactly.
That's it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, yeah. And now I heard that I think there's about 14 other states that have done this. Maine, the newest one, and I believe they went at 100%. My bill only does 50% because we're getting such a kickback from not a kickback, but a kick in the gut, from the insurers saying, hey, we're gonna have to raise rates, and I just don't see it that way. Because we don't know where the money's going.
Correct. And I'm sure that
I don't think they do either.
No, I know for a fact that there's a large portion of that drug rebate money that is being funneled back to the parent insurance company. Where it goes from there, we don't know. Because like you said, insurance rates have been going up and up and up.
And so, we have generics and we have all these things, but that middleman just seems to be something in the cloud that nobody knows who it is.
The three largest PBMs, Optum, Caremark, which is now a CVS company, and Express Scripts. They are all Fortune 15 companies. Largest companies, most wealthy companies in the country, and they are getting that money from many different players. It's
disturbing because I don't know where you stand on Bidenomics, but I just can see everything's going up, and I think some people are just crying out for some type of relief. And this is just a modest step at doing that. But I think the transparency thing is something that I want to drill in on. I know we got an amendment coming that's going to be introduced. But as far as the money either coming back or reducing the cost, or some kind of a stick that say, hey, look, you guys got to do something. This is getting out of hand.
Yeah.
New Hampshire seems to be one of the we're getting older. Amongst all the other states, it seems as though we seem to be aging out quicker, which means the probability of prescriptions needs are increasing. I don't know if you're seeing that at all.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
And I don't. Do you see drugs getting out cheaper?
No.
Yeah. As a whole.
As a whole, no. As a matter of fact, there's one story I have to share with you when it comes back to this this preferred drugs on being put on networks because of that rebate that we've been talking about. Just a personal story of a patient that I have who's been well controlled on an asthma inhaler. Asthma inhaler has been brand name forever and ever and ever and ever. Works great. She's happy. Doctors tickled pink. The inhaler went generic. It's a savings for her. Now she's Part D. She has a fixed amount of money that's on her plan. She's happy. Drug works for her great. Her insurance company has now refusing to pay for that generic. They want her to use a more expensive brand name because they're getting a rebate on that medication. Is she going to see any of that? No, because she has a set amount of benefit for the year. That brand name is twice as expensive as that generic inhaler that she's been using, so she's going to use up that benefit much, much quicker and then pay a much higher copay after she uses her benefit.
So looking out for the patients really isn't number one, as far as the insurance companies or these plans. Their bottom line is, of course, their bottom dollar, but is it time to change the system? I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Healthcare is to be effective and practical. This doesn't seem to work for anybody else except, granted, she's getting the drugs, but she's paying through the nose to do it.
Well, yeah, because they stopped paying for it. So now she has to pay if she wants to stay on that therapy, she has to pay hundreds of dollars out of pocket. So we're talking about asthma inhalers. So like a generic might be a couple $100, where a brand name is $400 to $500. So even a couple $100 a month is not insignificant for this particular patient.
Because they know you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... will you be there to testify on this bill by any chance?
I can certainly be there to testify.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in a couple of weeks, but it's definitely an issue that we need to solve, and we need to figure out a way. Off camera, I was just saying, that CMS, the feds, it seems as though the states have to genuflect at their altar. Otherwise, they got this big hammer of $50 million or $350 million. There seems to be a micromanaging, and the only people that don't seem to have a choice are the people that need it. It seems as though the choices are becoming more and more limited across the board, whether it's pharmaceuticals or in hospitals. Do you remember Dr. Welby?
Yes, I'm old enough to remember Dr. Welby. Yeah.
Whatever happened to Dr. Welby?
Exactly. No, it's not the same. I don't know. You seem a lot younger than I do. You probably don't see the doctor as often as I do, but most of the visit now is tippity-tapping into the computer because everything has to be well documented, or they don't get paid.
Yeah, it's interesting. I went to the doctor's on a shoulder issue, and she said, "Well, before we can, have an MRI on that, you got to go through therapy." Big question mark in my head. Like, what? What? I got to go to therapy to find out it's not working before I go to the MRI or the CAT scan or whatever. And I just thought that was kind of backwards.
Yeah, we have our rules.
But who's making these decisions? It's obviously not me.
Right.
I'm part of a particular network, and you have to go by their rules. And I get it. They want to save money. Somehow their people said, this is the smart way to do it. Well, smart for you or smart for me? For my good health or for your bottom line?
Right.
And I think across the board, it's time that people start kind of like looking at the system. Is it working? Maybe, but it definitely has some flaws, So, Are there other issues with the PBMs that could be considered? That
Well, so I'm very passionate when it comes to pharmacy. I've been an independent pharmacy for almost my whole adult life. I have seen reimbursement for pharmaceuticals at retail go down and down and down and down and down. As a matter of fact, there's a piece of legislation that we are crafting right now on the House side that will allow us, believe it or not, this is crazy, but it will allow us to say, no, we don't want to fill a prescription due to financial burden on us.
interesting. Yes.
Okay, so most of the brand name medications that we fill now are underwater. In other words, we get paid less than what we pay for the drug on brand names. And so we have to we have to fill so many generic prescriptions and hope to come up with enough
break
money
even.
to break even on
Yeah.
that brand. And it's not insignificant. It's quite significant. Some of the underwater reimbursement.
It seems like the Medicare or Medicaid, one or the other, they're again, they're micromanaging on certain areas, but where there's a disincentive to the doctors if they want to treat somebody, well, they're only going to pay at 80% or less than that, which means basically you're working for free to take care of this patient. And if you do enough of that in volume, you'll really be working for free.
Right.
Right. And so again, whether it's medical or pharmaceutical, and here's the other thing. There's because of the COVID and a lot of different perspectives on the vaccines, and the big bad person in the room at times is the pharmacists. Well, that's not you.
I hope to think
That's not you, but you know what I'm saying?
I do.
And it's you're behind the counter fulfilling these things, and for life-saving drugs.
Correct.
But you can get caught in that net of this anti-big pharma, and people have got to learn that the person that needs the insulin, well, big pharma made that, but you're not the big pharma with the horns, if you will. Because there are people out there that think, well, pharma's evil, and then they see Dr. Death and the other one with the OxyContin.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag of goods, but you're just the person behind the counter just trying to make a living and serve people with prescriptions.
Serve people, yeah. I mean, just provide the services that we've always provided.
Yeah.
Home delivery, yeah.
Now, what's the difference between an independent and versus one of these big conglomerates, if you like a CVS?
So an independent is exactly what it says. We are one, generally less than 5, part of a pharmacy group. I have one pharmacy. I'm not affiliated with a big national chain. I do belong to a buying group. So there's a bunch of pharmacies nationwide that have formed together so that we can get better pricing on generics. But no, I'm a one-man show. So every decision that's made in the pharmacy, every insurance plan that we decide to either take or don't take is made by me. The store hours, the personnel, the services we offer.
Right. You got a lot on your plate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, we do.
Years ago, when I used to sell insurance, I remember one time they were talking about the store owner. When you go into a store and you meet the manager, you got to remember the manager's life. Wakes up in the morning about maybe 4 o'clock, doesn't even turn on the lights, goes to the business, makes sure, locks the door behind him, unzips his chest, pulls out his heart, puts it on the desk, beats the living tar out of that thing until it's numb, puts it back in, zips it back up, turns on the light, open for business. I'm pretty sure that's kind of your lifestyle, and it's important because what, you're in New London, right?
New London, yeah, New London.
There's nothing up there.
There's nothing. Nope.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's a little quiet this time of year. Come summertime. the
Proctor
lakes will get
Academy,
busy.
then New London's up that way.
Yeah. We service Proctor Academy and New London, the surrounding community. It's
Sunapee and all that.
Sunapee, yep, the lakes.
But so you've got to do a certain amount of volume to make sure that you make ends meet. And,
Exactly.
There was something that was discussed in my last discussion with Senator Innes, and it had to do with synthesizing certain drugs. You get generics and other drugs that they put them together so they're not as expensive. But I don't know if I'm
Yeah, that I'm not.
yeah.
So we do have a compounding lab.
That compounding.
So
yeah.
we do have a compounding lab where there are typically non-traditional therapies. So, for example, we've found this is very, very big right now. People who have pain, particularly neuralgias, low-dose naltrexone. So we get together with a couple of pain clinics and we compound low-dose naltrexone capsules. That's just one of the things. But they're usually therapies that are not commercially available. They've been studied. They show some validity. There's safety, and so we follow set formulations to create those dosage forms.
Anything that people that's on your heart right now, as far as what what people can do to help or to stay informed on this type of an issue? I mean,
Oh boy! I'll tell you, it's tough. It's really hard. I wish I had some suggestions, but there's a website that's called Fight the number 4RX that people can go to.
Okay.
Basically, it's a national website. It's put out by the NCPA, which is the National Community Pharmacists Association. And you basically can look at what they're doing to help combat some of the PBM abuses. And you can put your story there of how the PBM has affected maybe a drug that you need and you can't get, or priced it out of your reach.
And people could be suffering from this. I know financially they can be suffering and they have to make some difficult choices, obviously. And so that's one of the areas where I definitely want to make a difference as far as helping out, especially people that are on fixed incomes.
Yeah.
We had some hematologists or people that are hemophiliacs on the previous show, and they were talking like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of...
For blood products, yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you become a slave to this, and that's. I'm sure the insurance company covers a lot, but even 10% of that is a lot of money.
Right.
So we want to come up with some solutions, but wow, that was a surprise to me. I really appreciate you coming on the show to talk about this, and for the long drive, and of course. You're gonna miss the traffic on the way out.
Awesome.
Yeah. If people want to contact you a little bit in your area, what is the name of your store?
So I'm at Colonial Pharmacy, and that's in New London, New Hampshire. We have a great website, www.colonialpharmacy.com. It talks a little bit about us. We offer clinical services there, immunizations, point-of-care testing. We have a test-to-treat program where if you suspect you have COVID or strep or flu, we can test you right on site. I have an exam room. If you test positive, I have a signed protocol from a physician. We fill a prescription and you walk out. So we have it's a 12,000 square foot store. It has everything in there that you could ever imagine. Our motto is, if we don't stock it, you don't need it.
That's funny.
We've been told, we've actually been told by Lego that we are the largest independent retailer of Legos. Some like North Carolina North or something like that. Or
Legos is in the toy?
Yes. Legos as in the toy. It's crazy. Yeah, you'd have to actually see the store to appreciate some of the things we have in there.
Oh, that's cool though.
Yeah.
There's Lego tournaments and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, short story. Some kids came up to the Capitol, and I sing to the kids when they come up. And there was a younger group. I think they were like second and third graders. And we were having a little issue with somebody speaking up. So we talked about rules, and I'm in charge, and so let's make a rule. And one little girl said, "Wow, we should make forts out of cardboard. I said, great. Another one said, well, we should have pillow fights for recess. Wonderful. One little boy said, we need to have Legos. And I said, oh, interesting. And then one little girl said, well, we need ice cream for lunch. I said, okay, so let's put all this together. You're the princess of the castle that we're going to make out of cardboard. You're going to defend the castle with the pillows. And the prize inside the castle is the Legos.
That's cool.
And we're all going to have ice cream for lunch.
Yeah.
But Legos was the topic.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But what an imagination these kids have. But
That's great.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun when they come up. But I really appreciate you coming on the show.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Thanks
All right.
again.
Nice to meet you.
You as well. And thanks for watching not Gate City Chronicle, Speaking with the Senator. That's the other show. And if you have a topic that you'd like to come on and talk about, if there's a piece of legislation that's concerning to you, I don't have to agree with you. You can just come on and talk about it. No judgment here. You say what you want. But if you want more information about the PBMs, by all means, check out the websites that we were discussing. And until next week, thanks for watching Speaking with the Senator. Bye.